It's not facing a Nissan. All right, guys. Happy Father's Day, everybody. What am I missing? How we doing? GTI Warriors in the chat saying hello to me, myself, and I. What's going on, GTI Chris? How are you, brother? It's my Mile High brother over there. Tabo Garage in the chat. Welcome, man. Glad to have you in the chat. I always see you in Uncle Tony's. You definitely add a lot to the conversation, man. Appreciate you. Glad to have you. How's everybody's week been? How's the day? Anything good going down? Anything new? Anything break? Did anything get fixed? Abel D's in the chat. Primo Abel's saying, Feliz Dia del Padre. Ari. Thanks, Abel. I forgot to text you back, man. I thought I'd text you back the other night, but I think you got back to me, and I didn't get back to you. So I'm a prick. I'll text you, Abel. Olive, welcome. How are you? Pirate Greg in the chat saying, what's up? Howdy, Greg. GTI Warriors doing good, saying happy Father's Day. Thank you, man. It was a mellow day. It was a mellow day. Got some cheeseburgers with the boy. It was pretty rewarding. He's a good little man. Dakota's timeout in the chat. Howdy, Dakota. How are you, man? I think I saw a short of you getting a nice Delco starter. That might have been old. I don't know. Sometimes I get old shorts in the feed. Mopar Man 1978 in the chat saying, hello, Ari. I'm also watching the movie Hot Shots Part 2. That's pretty gangster, Mopar Man. Double Garage is saying, hey, Ari. Often see you coming on live after UTG. Had time today to drop in, subscribe, and now join in. Happy Father's Day there. Hey, happy Father's Day to everybody else, too. Tavo. I appreciate you stopping in, man. My channel's not very... I don't have a lot to teach everybody. Everybody forgets more than I know. So, but there's usually some cool stuff to see. It's not too boring. I hope so. Pirate Greg saying 75th anniversary for the Tucker 48. For Father's Day, we came out to see 9 of them at the AACA Museum in Hershey. It was amazing. Tucker's rule. I'm unenlightened, Greg. I'm going to look that up though. I don't have my pen and pad in here. Actually, I got a pencil, don't I? Is this 400 M oiling mods? No, it's not. All right, get that going down. Abel D saying, Primo Ari, I think I found our race venue. Where are we going, Abel? Riverbed? We doing the LA River or what? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Dakota's saying that was the one I took off. Put a mini starter on. The video of the starter swap will be up tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'll check it out, Dakota. I'll probably be working, man, but I got notifications on for your channel. Tugster. He's saying, have no fear. The Dugster's temporarily here. Is it late over there, Doug? I lost track of the time. Dakota's saying, nothing wrong with the AC Delco starter. The mini starter turns over a little quicker and is smaller and lighter. Probably save 20 to 25 pounds by swapping starters. Yeah, that's nice. I was working on that 49 Chevy this week, and it had just a nice Vortec 350 in there. But the starter on that thing was horrible. It was just screaming. It was screaming every time you started the thing. So I shimmed it a little bit on the outboard side, and I just kind of pried it towards the engine as I tightened the bolts, and it sounded way, way better. Okay, there's a Jeff Bridges movie too, Greg. I'll check that out. Greg's saying, love the After the Tony, Ari. Glad you enjoy it, man. I always enjoy speaking with everybody, and I think it's kind of nice that, when Tony signs off, if he's done for the week or whatever, we can still get on here and yap. And there's a few hundred less people, so it makes for a good conversation, I think. Doug's saying 10:40 p.m. Should be in bed, but I'm here for a minute. Yeah, guys, Doug works way, way early. Tavo Garage is saying lunchtime here in South Australia. Cold, 42 degrees. That's right, South Australia. There's songs about that, right? Mopar Man just got done watching White Light and Mexican Specs in the chat. Mexican Spec, you got to tell me, man. What happened in the accident? Did someone cut you off? Was it something like what went down, man? Or you're okay? You're not injured or nothing, right? It was just your car. GTI Warrior is saying it's a bit off topic, but I've got to brag on my daughter for a minute. She just had her first day of work. How many 15-year-olds get a job on their own because they want to? I'm super proud. Yeah, that's pretty badass, man. That's really cool. You got to really hand it to, the kids like that. I was similar in a sense, I mean, I would do anything to get out of school. So if you told me I could work and I'd get a couple bucks for it because I wasn't doing much anyway, I was happy about it. But that's really awesome, brother. I'm glad. Olive saying I did as well. Pirate Greg saying it had a horizontally opposed V6 helicopter rear-engine car. Way ahead of its time for 48. One of my favorite cars of all time. I think I've heard one, but I've seen like a clip of one running, but I wasn't enlightened as to what it was. See Roma's in the chat. Howdy, Charlie. How are you, man? Welcome, brother. How'd the week treat you? Pirate Greg saying that's something to be proud of for sure. Mexican Specs saying, I was on a small two-way road. I marked the left turn and a 2020 four-door Silverado came around my left side and took me out. Damn. And there was, oh man. You're not hurting or anything, right, man? You're okay? Ducks, you're saying there's a light blue Tucker Gilmore car museum near Kalamazoo, Michigan. Ducks, you're saying runs and drives, I've seen it driven. That's got to be a trip. That's not something you see. I've never even seen. But yeah, guys, I'm just chilling here in the truck. I thought the truck would be better than the office. You know what I mean? It makes for a lighter atmosphere, I think. Mexican Specs saying, Ari, we're both fine. Please watch the video. It is a story. Mexican Spec, link it so everybody can watch it, so it allows a little bit of context for what I'm yapping about. Like I said, man, I'm glad you're all right. That's kind of a pretty shitty situation, man, but just the same, We can get another car. We can't get another Miguel. Hell, I can get 10 more cars. Probably got 10 of them sitting there. But yeah, decent week. Pretty mellow. I don't think... I didn't get a whole lot done at work. I was kind of in between waiting on parts and everything, so I did a bit of rearranging. Some basic work on that 49. A little bit of work on the Bronco. Trying to think what all else. I didn't get a lot done. It wasn't the most productive week. But I got a lot of stuff lined up for this coming week. Some good work. I got some parts coming in. So hopefully I can get the fuel system of that Bronco done. Get it plumbed and everything. And we'll be ready for some EFI. Yay. Abel D saying, all right, I got to make it short, making a call out to you official. Oh, man. GTI Warrior saying, but 15-year-olds don't seem to value the same things we did at that age. Yeah, like I said, man, that's so cool she's into that. Just putting a little bit of her time away and just working at something. That'll manifest into some form of success, I'm sure. That's awesome. A lot of folks don't have the drive. I know what you mean. Our Mexican Specs saying, they were bad guys that hit me, got out of the truck holding AK-47s, and they were not cops. Jeez, man, that sounds like a nice day. Doug's just saying, I'm driven off trailers and the museum grounds. Oh, it's driven off on and off trailers on the museum grounds. Sadly, doesn't see the road. But I understand. Chris Cadman's in the chat. Howdy, Chris. How's the pup? Mopar Man saying, I'm working on getting the 904 into the Valiant. I'm also dealing with a bad tooth. Money, more cash, and a crapper. Damn, man, that sucks. You always feel off when you have the tooth pain and stuff, and then the money. That's no good, man. I'm sorry, brother. I wish I could just put the 904 in my Dart. I got to take that engine back out. Tabo Garage is saying, oh man, that's crappy, Mexican Spec. Just watching your video on the side. Nice, nice. Mexican Spec saying, I drove the car back though. It drove as before. Lucky for that. We were taking it to dinner tonight. I just don't have a left turn signal. Okay, so it wasn't like horrible. Okay, I thought you were like, got taken out. Mr. Caesar T-Rex in the chat saying, happy Father's Day to all. Happy Father's Day, Caesar. Welcome, brother. How are you? Brian M's in the chat. Howdy, Brian. You barbecue this weekend, Brian? Dave Lewis is saying, I'm reading the new Cam. Dave, welcome, brother. How are you? Saying, reading the new Cam book by Billy Godbold. I'm unenlightened, Dave. What? You gotta enlighten me, man. Pirate Greg saying, besides kidney stones, that was the worst. Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I pray, not in my lifetime. Ed D's in the chat. Howdy, brother. How are you? Dakota, that's how they roll down there. Dakota, they have the plate carriers. They'll have AKs or different AR variants, and they're militarized. Like the criminals, the significant criminals down there are militarized. Dakota, it's a trip. It's probably I don't know. Mexican Spec saying, I can never forget where I am. I get reminded once in a while. Chris Cadman saying, motorcycle. Brian saying, yeah, eating leftovers. Nice. Chris, I do need a motorcycle. I really do. Just keep it in the back of the truck. Dave Lewis is saying he's the head of engineering for comp. Dave, how do you feel about that comp stuff? Because I've seen a lot of people on YouTube, and I heard a lot of, like my boss included, a lot of people in the restoration industry saying they've had trouble with it, but I have no experience at all. So it's like no experience at all with any of their products. I put one Hughes cam into the Slant 6 I put together, but that, I haven't even broken it in yet. So it's like, how can I, it's like still a decoration. Tavo Garage is subbing to folks. Dakota saying, dang, Mexican Spec, if you put a hot plate under their gas tank, it'll blow up. Just an idea. Dakota's already getting all red, Don. One poor man saying, the citizens need to be armed down there, just like the drug dealers equals neighborhood watches. Yeah, I mean, in some parts that's what they do, Mopar Man, but it's still like it's bad, man. Dougster saying, fight kidney stones, drink more water. The more yellow your urine is, the more dehydrated you are. And no more beer is not the answer. Doug, blood in the urine is totally normal. Excuse me, guys. Jeez, I need to go to sleep. Excuse me. Chris is saying, desert sled. GTI Warrior saying, Ari, if you get a bike in the LA area, you're likely to end up a hood ornament. You're not wrong, man. You're really not wrong. I think that's a lot of the reason I don't have one. I would love to have just something basic. I don't know. I don't even have a preference. I really like Harleys. I like FXs a lot, but never even ridden one, so I don't know if I like one. So there you go. Dougster saying, if you say so. The same as the gas in the Coleman, Doug. I'm always putting gasoline in my Coleman stove, and Doug's not a fan. XJ Dave's in the chat. Howdy, David. How are you, man? How's the Jeep? Yeah, this truck, I did some basic maintenance this week. I greased the front end. I changed the oil and I just adjusted the brakes. But while I was adjusting the brakes, I found a leak on my left rear tire. And it was late at night, so I didn't really look at it much. I'm like, whatever, everything feels fine, so I'm going to get home. When I took a look at it the next day, and my axle seal is leaking. And you know what I mean? I was a little worried there because it's like I didn't have parts. Otherwise, I would have got deep in there. But you know, if you know, I could always just replace the seal, of course. But it's like once I get in there, you know what I mean, replace bearings, seals. You know what I mean? What's the condition of my axles? Am I going to be able to get into this? You know how it is. You know, racing in the chat. Howdy, brother. Been enjoying the shorts, man. Been doing some cool stuff over there. Poor man saying they found that eating too much greens and non-water type liquids and lots of soda pop will cause kidney stones. I had one 10 years ago, changed up my diet. Damn. Duckster saying, Ari, you're tall enough, you would love a single cam CB750. That's probably a quick bike, Doug. I don't know if I can handle that. Chris Cabin saying, sporty. Baby blue sporty. Chris, I would so rock a sporty, especially one of the early 60s sporties with the fairing and everything. Those are such cool bikes. It would match the truck pretty well, too. Poor man saying plenty of TP for that axle seal leak. Nice. Brian saying replace the rear axle seals and outer wheel bearings first, Ari. Brian, but isn't the reason that the seals wear out because there's scoring on the hardened surfaces of the axles? I'm worried about having to replace the axles, and I don't want to, you know, press seals and bearings onto these old ones if they're no good. And I'm pretty naive to it because it's, you know, I've definitely had a lot of axles out and swapped them and everything else, but I've never been in this one. I don't know. Brian saying rebuilding differentials is not inexpensive now. No, it's not. But I mean, you know, this truck's how I get around, so it's pretty easy for me to justify spending a little bit of money on it. You know, compared to what I would spend on even a slightly newer truck or a different car or, you know, whatever it may be. If I can make this thing more dependable, it's more of an investment than just throwing money waste. I don't mind. XJ David saying, I'm good, man. Jeep keeps rattling right along. How's the six banger holding up for you? It's holding up well, man. This thing's been running really nicely. I've been kind of just doing little bits of maintenance here and there. I had the first issues with the alternator and stuff when I put it together. I had that exhaust leak, and I remedied that. I backed off the timing a little bit, and she's been really happy ever since. Oh, poor man saying you could do a press-on sleeve for the new seals. Chris Cabin saying, look at Ari's big brain. I don't have a big brain, man. I can barely even remember what I'm saying. Worse than the president. I'm wandering off. Kenny Wooden saying the vent tube might be clogged. You know, I mean, I wiggled it around. It's got movement, but I didn't like poke it out or nothing. I guess I should probably pry off the little cover, poke it out, and then re-crimp the little cover deal, huh? But yeah, Kenny, I consider that. Also, welcome, brother. How was your week? How are you, Kenny? Brian saying should have pressed on wheel bearings with wedding band lock bearings like a Ford 9-inch. Right on, Brian. I'm familiar with that setup. But I don't know. What I was told is that the axle seal wearing out was indicative of actual damage on the hardened surfaces of the axle. I don't know if that's completely ass backwards, but that's what I was told. Jeez, this thing's flopping everywhere. Sorry, guys. Oh, poor man, 1978, Pirate Greg saying. Same here. Stop drinking pop, change it up, then find sense. Tavo Garage is saying if there's scoring on the axle, dress it up with some abrasive paper. Yeah, Yeah, if I can get past it or close to it, I'm sure that'd be fine. They're strong old, axles and everything else. I'm sure they're fine. Dougster saying my father owned a 62 Sporty as a first motorcycle in the early 70s. He said it had 2 hours of wrench time and 1 hour of ride time. His low mileage CB 750 just needed general maintenance. The 750 stayed Sporty left. GTI Warrior saying sometimes the axle needs replaced, sometimes not. If you can catch your fingernail on the groove, it needs a wear sleeve. Nathan's Mopar Garage in the chat. Howdy, Nathan. How are you, man? Mopar Man saying, or do a thin weld where the seal rubs on the axle shaft and file it down so the seal doesn't leak. Mopar Man, I don't know about that, man, because then I'd be welding on the hardened surface. I don't know if that would mess with anything, but I also don't know shit about metallurgy. Brian saying, I think we figured out the 1960 half ton as a H0552 with 390 gears. Yeah, Brian, that's what it was. C-clips in the back, 1960 were only used on few passenger cars. I like that setup, Brian, with the little pinion pin and the C-clips. It's really simple, I feel like. It's simple enough for me. That's saying something. Chris Cadman saying, your apartment looks like my old truck. This is a rolling apartment here. A beautiful discourtesy light. Chris Greenaway asked me to fix it, but I haven't had a chance yet, so I'm sorry, Chris. GTL Warrior saying that's what the wear sleeve is for. Installs in seconds and no need to weld the axle. Okay. Mopar Man saying MIG it. Yeah, I mean, it's worked on everything else on this damn truck. But yeah, I've got some work in mind for this thing. I bought front wheel bearings, inner and outer. I bought seals. I'm probably going to try to get the rest of the suspension components. I got a couple gallons of Rust-Oleum. Start messing with the front end of this truck. See what I can do. Dougster saying, I'm going to try this thing called sleeping. I'll tell you my findings. Good night, all. Dougster's out. Good night, Doug. Have a great week, brother. Be safe out there. Check your fluids. Okay. Sorry, guys. I keep nudging this thing every time I try to read comments. But yes, definitely some love for this truck. I want things to be kind of tidy and fairly new from when I get that V8 together. Terry Grover's in the chat saying, hey, is this where all the troubleshooters hang out? Hello, Ari. Hello, everyone. Howdy, Terry. How are you, man? I've been getting more Ford work in, Terry. I've been messing with a 302 and that 400. A little bit of Ford stuff there. What else? I'm trying to think. No, just 302. GTI Warrior saying wear sleeves are common for front and back crank seals and pinion seals on commercial trucks. You may have heard them referred to as speedy sleeves. I was unenlightened, GTI Warrior. I haven't done a lot of work like that, obviously. You know what I mean? Just kind of getting in there to replace things, install brakes, stuff like that. I've never really, I'm always installing new parts. I never consider the old or what condition they're in. So, Pirate Greg saying your truck is cool, Ari. Keep on keeping on. Thanks, man. I love this whole thing. There's obviously, it needs work on pretty much every square inch of it, but it's like it's a rolling happy place, man. It's hard to be upset when you're cruising around in the old truck. Ryan saying axle shafts are designed to flex in half tons in passenger cars. Welding on them creates a stress riser area. Will likely snap at welds made. GTI Warrior saying Jerry Grover went shooting today and I'm always trouble. Nice. What'd you end up shooting, Chris? Chris Cabin saying those spinner washing machines are good for small spaces. Dave Lewis is saying we would grind down axle shafts, have them hard chrome plated and regrind to size, but it's an expensive process. Yeah, I could probably find some new ones pretty cheap. I mean, they're just 6-lug GM axles. I don't know the spline count on them, but easy enough. Everything for this truck is pretty generic. There's also a set of 3/4 ton rear drum brakes that just came off of this square body at work. And I kind of got my eyes on those because I feel like that would be a pretty solid upgrade for the truck. With bigger brakes in the rear, and if I could eventually find, I mean the drums are fine, but if I could eventually find some disc brakes up front, that would be a pretty cool combo. Pirate Greg saying it's like a time machine. I get it. Love traveling back to the before time in old cars. Yeah, pretty much, man. It's an experience of its own. It's only like this once, you know what I mean? I never thought I'd be able to keep it this way this long, but it keeps going. You know, hell, like I said, a month ago when I had this thing in pieces, I was like, am I going to be able to keep this thing the way it was? Is it going to be the same truck? But Chris Cabin's asking if I'm at Walmart. No, I'm outside my pops' office over here. Mexican Spec saying audio, so I'll have to shower and go eat with the kid. Hey, Mexican Spec, happy Father's Day, brother. Thanks for coming through. Have a safe week out there. Sorry about the accident. Check your fluids. GTI Warrior saying just put some rounds for my carry piece. Found a malfunction I don't like. Magazine keeps coming unseated. Well, it's good you checked it out, man. Terry the Terror, yes. Brian saying the lower static compression ratio and the hotter that engine tends to run, Dakota. 63 Grand Prix 455 held 195 to 210 Fahrenheit. Mopar Man saying, Dakota, I finally sold that B&M shifter. Guy on Facebook Marketplace driving from Kansas down to Florida stopped and bought it. Nice! That's how you know he's dedicated. He's just traveling around checking the Auto Trader. Just like Joe Dirt. Chris Cabin saying, love you, Dad. Yeah, my pop stopped by. I was hanging out with him and the boy for a while. It was cool. Pop's is classic. He didn't sleep well, so he was just out of it, like kind of hanging around, half asleep. He's not that old, but he sure acts it. He acts old. He's getting old. Dakota saying, do you have any other parts for sale? Hey, Mike in 32451 in the chat saying, happy Father's Day, everyone. Mexican Spec was in an accident. First I've heard. Hope he's okay. Yeah, Mike, he was all right. It was kind of a dramatic incident because of the people he's involved with and the area he's in. It was kind of unpleasant, but he's got a video up on his channel. I don't know if anyone can link that for me, Dakota, or Mexican Specs here. Mexican Spec, you gotta link it. You gotta link the video for him. Makes it faster. 160 Fahrenheit water temps last time. Together, 0 to 1 pistons will be 13 0 to 1. Race gas or E85 only fuels. Damn. Chris Cadman said so do I. Maybe. Pirate Greg saying B&M stands for bitching and moaning. I haven't had good luck with their stuff. Me either, Greg. I had one hang up on me when I was driving an old OBS Chevy. It pissed me off real bad. I was young and easily frustrated, so I almost tore that thing off of the car. But I like Hurst shifters. I like Hurst shifters a bunch. Even this soup pot in the truck. I like this thing. Zaya's linking a flag. Welcome to the chat. I think it's a Mexican flag. Rad. Viva Mexico. Brian saying Dakota high water temps are not actually bad. Everyone engine runs more efficiently. Bad is high speeds, cruising like 100 miles per hour. Oil temps can hit 300 Fahrenheit. Brian, what if you run the straight up like dinosaur juice like me, the 2050? Dakota's saying I like a stock Trans Am shifter. Mine, you can throw it up and it won't skip a gear when you're manually shifting. Nice. All I'm saying, not much fire. Greg had to whip up a quick cheeseburger, though I was fading. I feel you, Olive. I had one earlier and it was well needed. Chris Cadman saying doorknob shifters rule. I got an old tap handle, Miller Lite tap handle. I guess I can just show you guys. Move some of my trash here. Just show you guys. Yeah, it's an old Miller Lite tap handle that my lady's grandpa gave me. And it's kind of funny, but if you watch the movie Roadhouse, when it's first introducing the double deuce, it goes by the tap handles, and that's the one they have. So, just a thought. Pirate Greg saying, same, I'm about to smash an Arby's beef and cheddar. Nice, man. Brian saying, Dakota, it's always a bad idea to use cheap, low-quality oils, especially in vintage V8 engines. None had factory oil coolers. Brian saying, 2050 is ideal for Southern California. Yeah, that's what I like. I've been using that Castro Classic High Zinc 2050, and the truck likes it a lot. Tobble Garage saying, nice shifter. No, thanks, man. Chris Cabin saying, touche. Peyton Neighbors in the chat saying, Roadhouse. Buff Del Campo in the chat. Howdy, Buff. He's saying, tap in the pickup. Hook it up. It won't be an open container. Yes. Is this an airbag system you have here? No, that's actually CO2 for the small kegerator I have. Tabo Garage is saying, I have an 8-ball on my 3 on the tree, otherwise known as a windshield puncher. Tabo, I used to have an 8-ball on this one, but it was too low. This truck used to be 3 on the tree, but the linkage was so worn that I just installed a Hurst little Indy kit, and I've used that ever since. Nowadays, you know, I'm a little less green. I probably would have fixed the 3 on the tree, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. It makes for a different drive being back here and just being able to shift versus leaning up on the wheel and stuff. So, kind of cool. It's pretty much one of the only things I've changed on the truck. I've the shifter, lowering springs. Yeah, that's about it. I haven't changed much on her. GTI Warrior saying, I'm crushing chicken nuggets and Modelo Negra at the moment. Nice. Gotta love the Negra Modelo. I always say that, Chris, because Modelo Negra and Negra Modelo are two different things. Stoic Steel's in the chat. Howdy, brother. Saying, I use 540 Rotella in my Cummins. Perfect for the random Colorado weather. Yeah, I bet. I guess I'd take the 5.8 over the 15. Wood Chip saying, mine is stock, I swear. Wood Chip, I finally got a closer look at your truck, man. That thing's... You've been all over that thing. It's awesome. Pirate Craig saying, yeah, good choice. Chris Cadman saying, it's still a weird apartment. I mean, this is, Chris, this is some serious shit. In California, you know, an apartment like this, vintage studio apartment, back patio. BNR saying, Dakota, the 1030 VR1 must be good. Okay, no wiped out or flat cam lobes. 455 running decent. Didn't toss a connecting rod. How mechanics know it's good or shit oil? Buff Del Campo saying, worn out Chevy 3 on the tree shifters jam into the neutral position. Buff, I used to have so much trouble with that thing because I knew how to drive manual. I knew how to, but I wasn't at all good at it. And the only experience I'd had was with a modern car. So I had no idea what I was doing with this thing. And it seemed like the only gears I could find were third and reverse. And at the time, I lived in a beach town that was pretty hilly, so it was it was sketchy at times. That's, this shifter's good. Tabo Garage is saying 2050 mineral oil down here doesn't get cold enough to warrant anything less. Yeah, pretty much same here, Tabo. It's pretty mild weather out here. The coldest it'll get is maybe 40 Fahrenheit. Chris Cadman saying fire hydrant, free water. Yes, yes. So Chris, I guess you guessed what the bucket's for back there. GTI Warrior saying Rotella's been making 1030 for at least 10 years. Well, diesel oil anyway. Yeah, they do. They got 1030 and they got straight 30 too. Stoic Steel saying a 6.7 Power Stroke calls for 1030. So my guess is Rotella developed it for that. I like those Power Stroke engines. They sure do sound nice. I just like diesels. I don't know a damn thing about them, but I like them. Ryan saying 2050 has a tougher, stronger oil film, hot running engine. With trade-off, cold oil flow on engine startup is slower. I always warm this thing up. It's kind of a habit. I think that this thing, when it doesn't have some good heat on the intake, it just wants to stall. Right now it's running really strong, so it kind of does whatever, but most of the time it really likes a little bit of heat. She's a good truck, though. This thing gets me everywhere. I can't believe how well it holds up to all the crap I put it through. Drove this thing like I guess it wasn't that much, maybe a good 100 miles the other day. I took a hood down to Classic Industries for my boss. It was a hood for a 7D GMC, and it was too big for his Escalade, and he didn't want to strap it to the roof, and I don't blame him. So I hauled it down there for him. And that plus my work commute was pretty much a good 100 miles. And it was a nice cruise. It's hard to be mad, you know what I mean? Just driving around in my truck, just taking an old hood back to the classic parts store. Ain't nothing to it. Chris Cabin saying, Canadian, we carry ice. Maybe have a rum. Brian saying, Moroso Racing did a video. 1030 flows double gallons per minute versus 2050. Matters most. Oh, for racing usage. GTI Warrior saying, from an oil standpoint, you only need about 45 seconds warm up. Your car will appreciate the extra time, though. Yeah, I mean, she just runs a little better. I mean, like I said, when she was kind of running poorly and like the early years, if I didn't warm her up, she'd want to stall, like almost certainly. And we gotten past that, but still, it's just become a habit. I'll let this thing get up to temperature and roll out. Just figure, you know what I mean? Just whatever steps I can take to get this thing ready. It's funny to just hit the freeway every morning. We, get to work and truck's sitting there. Get home. It's a normal truck, you know what I mean? As old as it is. Pyro Greg saying timing could have very well been Pyro Greg. I didn't mess with it too much back then. Hey, Shopcat's in the chat. Howdy, Shopcat. How are you? Shopcat saying GTI Warrior, and up here in the Great White North, if you drive off too soon, your windshield will fog up and you'll be as blind as can be. Learned that the hard way a few times. Oh man, I feel you. It's hard to see sometimes, man. I can't see shit. Oh, poor man saying it's always good to start a vehicle up, let it warm up, whether the vehicle is old or new, or hot or cold out. It puts less wear on the internals. Don't let the nut jobs bother you with the climate crap. No, no. I can't save the climate. There's nothing I can do. Dakota saying, I know we're about a 70 model C10. It's for about 3,500. Has some rust, but looks pretty good. Small block Chevy, runs, drives all that. Dakota. Oh, long bid too, Dakota. See that? That's exactly what I told my boss when I threw the hood in there. I'm like, see, Ray, I'm like, that's why I long bid. I was like, I don't have to take anything out. I just throw it in there, a couple straps over it. I'm good to go. Like, I can put anything in there. GTI Warriors telling Shopcat he's in Eastern Colorado. I know all that too well. Head out the window, sucks in a negative 30 blizzard. No! Chris Cadman saying, how dare you? Good old Greta Thunderbird. Greta Thunderbird's going to come down and smite them cheeseburgers from our mouths in our American decadence. That was one of the most annoying things. Why did that have to happen in my lifetime? Of course. Greta Thunderbird. I mean, and the irony is, it's like you want to talk about waste and pollution. What about shippable furniture? That was invented in Sweden. You're telling me all that IKEA crap that ends up in the landfill every year and all the packaging for all the bolts and the klingespoppens or whatever the hell they say on there, you're telling me that's not pollution? IKEA, shippable furniture, own it. Anyway, sorry. Pirate Greg saying, my Nova slipped out of timing once and it would stall at a red light or a stop sign. I had to peg it for it to not stall out at all. Got pulled over once or twice before figuring it out. No, it wasn't like just sitting there stalling. It was kind of like a sputter, you know what I mean? Like a kind of a fuel sputter and then just a stall. It was just, she wasn't burning fuel like she was supposed to. XJ David saying Western Colorado here. Shopcat saying, hey, all right, hit 2,000 day, all off one short. Shopcat, that's badass, man. Well deserved, brother. Two Hacks Garage in the chat. Jive Hive Jeffrey, how are you, brother? Minar saying, I like warming up engines too for at least 1 minute. If your engine has forged pistons, you want to warm it up fully before driving off or racing. Huh. Dakota saying, I know where a 67 F100 is. FE is supposed to be 390. Perform RPM, intake, and valve covers. Turbine wheels. Has some work to be a driver, though. That'd be a nice truck, too. GTI Warrior saying, damn, Colorado is representing pretty good here. Lazy A-hole is about an hour and a half from me. Nice. Chris Cadman saying, all right, your landlord is at your door. Jeff, I still got to give that guy a call about that cam. Jeff was kind enough to search up a cam that he thought would fit my purposes, and seemed like, you know what I mean, it seemed real good. It's a damn good price, so I'm trying to get on that if I can. Well, poor man's saying, I'm thinking of coming up with slide-on aluminum plates that go around the end of the exhaust pipe. That has a face a grate on it. The pipe holds your mouth. Brian M. saying, it takes a bong rip to understand Greta and her logic. The Best is in the chat saying, what's up, son? What's up, The Best? How are you? I'm just hanging out over here. It's starting to get dark. I would turn on my discourtesy light, but that thing hasn't worked for a couple of years, so. But yeah, just hanging out, man. Just hanging out. Oh, Greta throwing up out of your exhaust. I like that Mopar, man. That'd be a good one. Yeah, but I need to get that V8 together. get the bearing retainer for that Saginaw. I'm gonna figure out my clutch situation because that bell housing I have is set up for a mechanical clutch, and I'd really, really like to keep the hydraulic clutch. Um, those McLeod clutches are not cheap. GTI Working would turn on the light, but you're being discourteous. That's the discourtesy lamp. I'm gonna buy a new one. I need to do that. Get myself a proper headlight switch again instead of the little toggle. I love the old truck. Brian saying, Mopar man, Greta the Nazi Democrat. Why did it try to hold that message for review? It's trying to censor the word Nazi. What's the state of things? Tabo Garage is saying that would bug me to no end. Courtesy light is a must for me. Yeah, Tabo, I need to do that, and then I kind of want to wire a couple just under the dash too, so I got some foot lamps. Chris Cabin saying, Ari, open the door. We don't want to accelerate things. Olive saying, oh my God. Dave Lewis is saying a Camaro late model hydraulic throwout might work. I'm gonna have to look that up, Dave. See, some of this stuff I can keep stuff running, I can keep it together, but you know what I mean? I lack a lot of experience building this stuff, so. Caesar T-Rex saying, be safe, guys. Heading to Durango this weekend. Hope all goes well. Caesar, I hope that truck's in decent condition, man. Happy Father's Day, brother. Thanks so much for stopping through. Hope to talk to you soon. Enjoy yourself out there, man. Check your fluids. Charlie Roma's saying, good night, everyone. Got to get up early. East Coast out. Charlie, have a great night, brother. Happy Father's Day. Check your fluids. Right, saying they can censor all, but Ari's. Hey, got Alderney in the chat. Welcome. Woodchip saying, when I think bong rips, I think about 2015 to 16. My friend and I put a new transmission in a Ford Contour. I don't know who did more bong rips, us or the owner of the car who decided this was a good idea. Yes. Chris Cadman saying, hand the cat out the window, Ari. Danny Boyd's in the chat. It's Uncle Corn Pop. He's in here. He's saying, used to love me some bong rips. Oh, man. Mexican Specs saying, nice. I guess you're talking about the 63 Savoy. Yeah, lots of stuff in the works. And I'm really, very, very tempted just to ask my boss to pay him a couple bucks just to put my dart in the yard. It's like I already pay a lot for storage. You know what I mean? And the difference is storage is, 10 miles away from work and there's no tools there. So it's no shop amenities. But I was considering doing that. I don't know if he would be cool about it, and it'd probably end up being a real pain in my ass. But Chris Cadman saying, "Is that truck a 6?" Yeah, this one's a 6-cylinder. Danny Boyd saying, "I dare you." What the hell? The hell's texting me right now? Yeah, good old truck though. I'm just chilling in here. Dakota saying, "Ask him." Pirate Greg saying, "Reminds me of my dazed and confused days." Yes. Nathan's Mopar Garage is saying he would probably keep asking if it's done yet. Yeah, Nathan, but if I could truck on some work on it, it'd be nice. You know what I mean? If I could kind of cover my bases. I mean, obviously, I could run into some hangups, but if that's the case, I could, I don't know, put it back into storage if it's that bad off. But that's exactly what I thought, Nathan. You know what I mean? Is him kind of cracking the whip for me to work on it, but in reality, it's what I should be doing. I've been kind of procrastinating on it for a while. So I'd like to get to it. And if I could get that car running decent, you know what I mean, it would be a lot easier to have this truck up on the rack when I'm doing a swap or whatever it may be. So that's a thought. I don't know. Stoic still saying Ari is slowly fading into the shadow realm. All right, I get out of this truck. There's some light out here. Is that better? You can see me again. Like, do everybody a solid. Brian M saying the positive is she's smog exempt. Yes. Chris Cadman saying nice. Had a Ford 6 buried in a backyard. Ran for 3 days. Yes. Nathan's Mopar Garage is saying always good to have a backup car. Yeah, and I gotta do the Dart some justice. I feel like it's too cool of a car to let sit like that. Push button transmission and shit. That'd be fun. That would be a cool one to drive around. Dakota's timeout is saying, would y'all go for the 67 F100 FE? Performer intake, RPM, turbine wheels. Needs some work. Pretty dang solid. Or the C10 that has some rust but is a driver. Small block Chevy of unknown size. Dakota, you know my answer there. I like those FE engines. I do. The Ford's cool. It's a really cool machine. But as far as practicality goes, that C10 will do you pretty decent, man. Plus, you know how it is finding small block parts. It's easy, man. It's nice. It's nice being able to just search up parts and find them, you know what I mean? With this 6-cylinder, it's like I can't find a flywheel. Mopar Man saying, I remember nights, me and my buddies raiding the local gas stations for munchies and the local Denny's. Rad. Danny Boyd saying I'd go for the Ford. Yeah, Dan, I could see that. It'd be fun working with that 390 and everything. You can do some stuff with it. It's kind of a big boy engine compared to a random small block, but a C10's easy, man. They're just so simple and they're so, you know what I mean? They withstand modification really easy. There's room for everything. I mean, parts are everywhere. They remanufacture every piece of that, especially that year, as you said, 69, right? They remanufacture every piece of that truck. Brian saying, try and get the rebuild parts needed for that 350 Chevy R in July or early August. Prepping, stuff, lead and brass, lots of bad stuff coming. Yeah, Brian, you know what I mean? It does feel kind of weird lately, but doomsday is every day, man. We always got to try to be as ready as we can be, right? B&R Racing, where every day is doomsday. I just picture excuse me. I just picture Brian driving around one of those nuke towns with the mannequins in the Pontiac, Just, Eddie Boyd saying just for the turbines. Nice, Dan. Pico 67 SS. Welcome, brother. Happy Father's Day. Saying flip the Chevy, keep the Ford. Hey, whatever, whichever one. Stoic Steel saying C10. Yeah, we kind of got a bias, huh, Stoic? GTI Warrior saying I'd have to go with the Chevy. Hey, Cheryl Alastra's in the chat. Howdy, Cheryl. How are you? Pirate Greg saying I love my 350 small block Chevy for that reason. Parts are everywhere. Yes, they sure are. Hey, cousin Mike's in here. Landon Custom Classics. Howdy, Mike. How are you, brother? I sent you that stupid Chuck E. Weiss song earlier, just because it makes me laugh. So I thought it might make you laugh. Dakota saying 67. Yeah, 67's a pretty good year, Dakota. I think you pretty much dodged getting a 307. I think. Dave Lewis is saying the FE390 is a pig, more money for everything. Yeah, Dave, that's a professional way of saying it, I think. BNR is saying it's nuclear doomsday every day now. Every day is doomsday, Brian. You can't knock the man for his preparedness. You cannot. Constant vigilance. That's what Mad Eye Moody said in Harry Potter. Constant vigilance. Cousin Mike's been busy in a live stream. No worries, man. I just been sitting in the car talking with everybody. I wanted to pop on here. I don't like leaving everybody hanging. So, it's kind of what it is. We don't know. But, yeah, you're not missing much, man. How are you, Mike? Anything cool going down? There's always something cool going down at Cousin Mike's. Mike had his projector on the side of his camper. He's outside just chilling, and he's got John Wick 4 projecting on the side of his camper. I was jealous. Straight up jealous. Dakota saying 67 F100. I can't remember what year C10. Yeah, Dakota, I mean, if you really like, you probably like the F100 because it's the, is that the Uncle Jesse truck from Dukes of Hazzard, or does he have a Ranger? I can't remember. Never watched that much Dukes. Pirate Greg saying if I had to have another small, though, it would be a 351 Cleaver, or another small block. Chris Cadman saying, well, no reason to clip my toenails. No, why would you? Why would you do that to yourself, man? Keep the claws. Pirate Greg saying, love the After the Tony. All right, thanks, man. I'm glad to have you, man. It's, like I said, usually mellow. So, we got more light. Usually mellow. Everybody just talks. I like it, you know what I mean? It's not super tech oriented because I don't have a lot to teach people, but, Chris Cadman saying, I'm camping too. This truck is not abandoned. I am not camping. There's no vagrancy occurring here, Chris. It's not like that. Just walk the earth like Kane from Kung Fu. Stoic Steel saying, does the C10 have side marker lights? Dakota saying most of his were bump sides. Okay. Yeah, Dakota, I'd probably say take the C10, man, because, I mean, you were just telling me how cheap those 383 kits are, man. You could build yourself something fast in that truck. And, I mean, I don't know if it's not your favorite style, you know what I mean? Don't buy something you don't want, but I like those trucks a lot. Opar saying, Jesse had most of the time a late 60s white Ford truck. One episode had a yellow pickup. The best is saying some people don't know what a silver dollar is. I just can't imagine going back to that system. Oh, geez. Brian saying the prepper channels on YouTube fail to understand and explain how important running and driving cars and trucks are, especially vintage. I feel like that's something that people don't really touch on. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm from down here in Southern California, so it's like traffic is mind-numbing even on a normal day. It could be something like a sports event, a hockey game or something, and it takes you You can't get to where you need to go. There's no other alternate route. Streets are clogged. People don't think about a vehicle. If things are going, if shit's hitting a fan or whatever, you're not gonna be able to get around. That's why I think those dual sport bikes are pretty cool. That'd be a cool thing to have. Chris Cadman saying, "Okay, Ari." Racing say, you see Tony teamed up with Economic Ninja? Yeah, that was a trippy one. I could see where Tony would, enjoy listening to what he has to say, but the guy was a little out there for me. He kind of got on the Christian Science bit for a second, and there was a bit of numerology involved. You know what I mean? I felt like I was getting sold something. Um, but it was still interesting. It's hard for me to stay focused. You know what I mean? If I'm bored, I'll get off subject. I do it at work all the time. It's bad. It's really bad. Danny Boyd saying Uncle Jesse's truck was always a split grill. Chris Cadman saying I can get you a cheap washer dryer. How much are we talking, Chris? Pirate Greg saying some people don't know how a car works. Most people, in fact. Danny Boyd saying split grill was 70 to 77, bump sides were 67 to 72, and dent sides were 73 to 79. Mopar Man saying I don't like the prepper shows who show off what they have built or have in their supplies. Not anybody's business. Yeah, I get that. One-Eyed Cat's in the chat. Howdy, Don. How are you, man? Pirate Greg saying, all hail the V8. Shiny and chrome eternal. Wendy English in the chat. Howdy, Wendy. I was stoked on that cookie cutter you had. That was beauty. Danny Boyd saying, I could be wrong, though. Been a long time since I watched. Yeah. Yeah, the prepper thing, I mean, I always thought it was kind of a good idea, especially out here, you know what I mean? You got earthquakes, whatnot. The shamdemic was indicative of that. People started ransacking stores, panic buying things, mostly toilet paper, but there was a lot of random things I couldn't find. So, I don't know. My big issue with prepping is that it's not cheap. Right, Brian? I mean, that can't be cheap, man. It's like I'm already worried about the gas and food I normally consume versus, putting some aside. Worried about paying for the gas and food I normally consume. One-Eyed Cat saying she's making cookies for no-name nationals to hand out. It's going to be badass. Going to be badass. Yeah, that stuff ain't cheap, you know what I mean? To have things set aside like that. I guess it depends how you do it. Pirate Greg saying, I used to love the Dukes. Came on before reruns of the old 60s Batman episodes. My brother and me would watch Dukes of Hazzard and then go ride our bikes. Jump high as we could. Good times. That's badass, Greg. I like Waylon's voice, and it looks like them old Duke boys. Whatever it may be. Danny Boyd saying earthquakes, zombies, weirdos. Yeah, this place is a trip. This place is a trip. Tavo Garage is saying, I'm slipping. Only have 2 weeks of food, but I have a $5,000 water tank. There you go. It's pretty important. GTI Warrior is saying, prepping can be expensive, but doesn't have to be. Think about farmers 60 years ago and how they prep for winters. Yeah, I mean, in that sense, if I still had a garden, I wouldn't, think of it as such a thing. I used to grow a lot of that stuff myself, and the only difference was I didn't can it, but... Pirate Greg saying, Ari, what was the BMX culture like in SoCal in the 80s? Greg, I wasn't around in the 80s, but at Zero, my good friend, my brother, and Maud as well on the channel, like that matters. He used to BMX in the 80s, and there was it was pretty significant. There was a lot of skate parks where people would go. A couple spots real close to the beach. You had Venice Beach, of course. Kids used to scoot around. There was like BMX gangs and stuff. It was pretty heavy down here, man. Chris Cadman saying Ari seems like a cool dude. Thanks, Chris. I mean, I guess I try, man. Try not to be a prick. If you try to avoid prick and douche, I guess that gets you somewhere near cool, dude. Go to timeout saying sometimes I want to do jumps in my TA, but don't want to mess it up. The best is saying about 100-ounce silver bar. 100-ounce silver bar. Tried to sell it, took a while, and for less. Damn, that sounds lame. Pirate Greg saying, did you see any of that early BMX stuff out there? Some of it, yeah, a little bit of it. My friends used to skate, so we go to skate parks, and there was always BMX guys, and then some of those really old school skaters that would do like traditional tricks, like hang tens and stuff on the skateboards. That was pretty prevalent back when I was younger. Ryan saying, we have a worst case, have goods and parts to barter and trade with others. Something, man. One-Eyed Cat was saying, One-Eyed Cat says, I wasn't around in the 80s. I knew that was coming. I wasn't born until 92, man. I can't be like, well, in the 80s, the BMX culture here in Southern California was, I don't know. I learned secondhand, from at zero and whatnot, but I don't know. I'm fucking, I feel aged, but I'm pretty young, I guess. Stoic Steel saying this country would be in chaos if the electricity is out for more than a few days. Yeah, that would definitely throw folks off. Imagine not being able to charge the phone, or if it didn't work at all. It'd be confusing. It's funny, you grew how dependent on these things we grew. I remember when I was a kid, it was not a thing. There were still payphones and whatnot. GTI Warrior saying bread in a cookie bag works. Had some cookies sent to me in Iraq one time, still fresh and soft after 3 weeks in the mail. Damn, man, that's right. You got the cookies. Greg saying rad, thanks. Yeah, of course, man. It was pretty cool down here, man. It was a different place. Like I said, the culture has changed a lot. You've got this like kind of weird upper class thing where the beach is now versus the kind of burnout beach town vibe it used to have. It's just not the same. BNR saying, yeah, Dakota, yes, don't jump the 74 trans. Brian's all protective of the ponchos. Mopar Man saying, I got my buddy General Lee back up and running. Bad points, ballast resistor. We'll be doing a video riding around in Branson. Drove the Hazard squad car down to his Dixie Outfitter shop the other day. He told me about that shop, Mopar Man. Dakota saying, I want to street race somebody, but not a 2020 model Camaro or Challenger. Something worthy. You need someone worthy to race you. One-Eyed Cat is saying the trick is to wrap the bread in a paper towel so not to be in direct contact with the cookies. What am I missing over here? Who's behind me? Ugh. Bastards. I heard Greg saying, he's like, yeah, that's the good stuff we all try to emulate when we were young. Lots of broken bones. Yeah, man, I was never really, I rode a beach cruiser around. I was never the most coordinated kid. I wasn't good at skating and stuff, so I would take pictures mostly. I wish I had those rolls of film still. I had some pictures of some really, really cool old skating, BMXing, rollerblading even. No poor man saying, I've loved to watch certain adults and the millennials that have their faces buried in phones when we have a complete meltdown. Hey, I'd be kind of thrown off too, man. I wouldn't be able to watch YouTube shorts. I don't know. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? You're used to just having contact with everybody, and then you don't. I guess it's not that big a deal. Maybe I should probably use the phone less, but I don't know. The best is saying you can prep, but if a nuke hits at your site, then what? Yeah, pretty much. Tabo Garage is saying, as long as I can hand pump my gas, I have propane for heating and cooking, I'll be fine to see electricity go out for a while. Nice. GTI Warriors saying, I'll race you, Dakota. My Isuzu Rodeo with 7 foot-pounds of torque. Auto Salvage Outlaws in the chat. Howdy, brother. Mopar Man saying, you guys want me to do a video of the Dixie Outfitter store, especially the walk around the inside of the store? Yeah, Mopar Man, I'd be stoked to see it, man. You've mentioned it a few times, and it sounds like a really cool place. Stoic Steel saying, the modern muscle is undoubtedly fast. Yeah. Yeah. Even the 6-cylinder stuff is fast. Pirate Greg saying, that's cool, bro. I'd love to see the old school footage. Yeah, man. Like I said, it's not the same down there. It's not. People turn it into something it ain't. That's all I can say about it. Sorry, get that light out of your guys' eyes. Stoic Steel. Pirate Greg saying, I'm up here in the Rust Belt, and it's winter 6 months out of the year. Yeah, winter here is kind of a joke, man. We got a lot of rain this year, so it was kind of, you almost had to take it seriously. You couldn't just be outside, but it wasn't very cold, that being said. GTI Warrior saying, Mopar Man 1978, there was a store called Dixie Outfitters in Richmond Hill, Georgia around 2008. BNR is saying, a base Hemi Challenger or Charger, quick 6.0 LSHD truck or C5 Corvette, be a good test, Dakota. SRT has 500 horsepower or something. Nathan's Mopar Garage saying, modern muscle has no soul. No, it does not, man. That's kind of why I felt bad about covering up that 440 like that, making it all blacked out. It reminded me of the new Mopar. Do you not agree, Nathan? I mean, I don't know. It looked clean. Mopar Man saying, it's got a lot of pro-gun and other politically incorrect merch as well as Trump stuff. Pirate Greg. Oh, Trump stuff. Pirate Greg saying, it sucks, man. The before time is what I call it. Times have certainly changed. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. I never thought I'd be like nostalgic for the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, that the lingering essence of the 90s was still there. It's kind of funny. Payphones, yellow books. Video games with cheat codes you didn't have to buy. Guys. Amtrak coming by. Was it the Pacific Surfliner, I think? Stoic Steel saying exhaust and tuning helps bring back some of the soul and modern stuff. Yeah, it kind of does. Makes it less robotic, right? All it's saying, everything got monetized practically. The best is saying there was a driver named Dixie Normus, right, Ari? Yes, Dixie Normus. GTI Warriors saying, just think, today's kids will never know the joy of prank calls from payphones. Oh my God. We used to get people so pissed. So pissed. My brother still does it. He got one of those Indian scam calls the other day. And the guy started kind of yelling at my brother, and my brother just started mimicking him, and he started going like, and the guy flipped out, and he's like, you mother toad, you mother bitch. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Mopar Man saying, yep, we had a small group of BLM protesters come to Branson and try to shut the store down. My buddy tripled his sales, even online, and moved in town to a bigger, better location. Yes. Dakota's saying, tell us about some of them. Some of the prank calls, it's hard to remember, Dakota. It's hard to remember. Yeah, Dakota. Plus, I mean, a lot of what I did is probably considered criminal harassment nowadays. I probably shouldn't disclose that. So, what are you gonna do? Oh man. Brian's saying, Dakota, the 4-lane highways are best there in upper central Illinois. Always scope it out, knowing 5-0 is around or not. What the? What's going on, man? Doing the Pinchy live stream. All right, Luis. The best is saying he had to be there. Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those things. One of those things. Saying patrolling county sheriffs on 2-lane county roads here are risky. People are in this place there's certain portions of it that are a total speed trap. So it's like you definitely got to watch it. I don't have to watch it because you guys know when I'm driving. This thing's not. I'd really have to try to speed. Danny Boyd saying we use the 2-lane roads in the country between cornfields to race. That sounds good. That sounds a lot safer than anywhere out here. They street race in this industrial area in Santa Ana, and there used to be a lot in Huntington Beach by the dump, on a street called Nichols. Dakota's saying a guy I work with got hit by a truck and the truck ran away. I'm going to call him acting like I'm the guy and tell him I want some money or he's going to get an ass whooping. Yes, that'll really get his blood pressure up. I like it. The best is saying, shit, Ari, I thought you were getting jacked live. No. This is the best. This is such a mellow area. Such a mellow area. That's why Auto Salvage Outlaws was asking me to do a burnout, because I was doing another live stream from the truck the other week. He asked me to do a burnout. And it's like, I can't even do that. You know what I mean? People would be like, oh my God, what is this? What is that? That's loud. It's full on Singapore down here. Tabo Garage is saying, I'm surrounded by great 2-lane highways in my country town. Unfortunately, they have heavily policed, boringly low speed. That's got to suck, Tabo. Danny Boyd is saying, a couple guys still got killed out there. One of them before school one morning. That sucks, Dan. I mean, I guess it's a risky run. There's definitely worse ways to go. Dakota's time out saying, getting robbed live, that would get subs. God. I'm like, so... You guys got to imagine how terrifying that is. Like, I'm just waiting for, like, my dumbest, derpiest video to go viral all the time. And it's like, you never know what kind of weird, gimmicky publicity you'll get in your YouTube channel. It just doesn't sound like fun. Like, for some reason, I don't know why, the shorts of me complaining about my boss just go off. Everybody loves those. Maybe because everybody hates their boss. I don't know. But you never know what's going to get popular, what's going to get views. That's scary, man. GTI Warrior saying, Dakota, you may not have been there in the era of prank calls, but you've got the spirit. He definitely does. Danny Boyd saying, I want a soundboard for pranking spammers. Yes. Danny Boyd saying, ditches, phone poles, and the occasional big tree. Chris Cadman saying, Ari is popular. Not really, but I mean, just the same. It's like you can post a short and have not really many subscribers and it'll still get 100,000 views. You know what I mean? It's like like 100,000 people heard me bitching about my boss and this 350. Really, really. But I don't know. Like I said, it's definitely fun uploading things, talking with everybody, and all that. So I guess it's a risky run. Stoic Steel saying, got to watch out for intersections when the corn is up. Really ugly wrecks happen every year in my area from that. Yeah, I'm weird about the intersections, Stoic Steel. I really am. People out here are like, I don't feel like stopping for reds right now. So Dakota's saying, oh, this guy is easy to get riled up. I do it all the time. He's somebody that's actually crazy. Dakota, don't pick on disabled people, man. Come on. It's bad luck. Oh man. But yeah, guys, I'll probably go ahead and call it. I'm on an hour and 20 here. This phone's getting low battery. I just wanted to make sure to pop in and say hello to everybody. Chris Cadman saying, I see you stepped outside your apartment. Yes, the Hotel Apache. There actually is a Hotel Apache at Binion's Casino, downtown Vegas. I don't recommend it. I don't. Pirate Greg saying, true story. My junkyard friend and me pranked a kid's house so hard in 1997 from his home phone. When we got back from riding the three-wheeler, a sheriff deputy was waiting in the driveway for us. Damn. But yeah, everybody have a great night. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. Thanks everybody who stopped in. I really hope everybody has a good week. And check your fluids. Check your fluids, guys. Hopefully more videos to come. I'll see if I can record something cool, try to get some good shorts in, maybe a live stream if I can. But everybody be safe out there. Thank you, guys.